Good morning, everybody. Friday. Not so nice out there. We've got wet stuff. We've been so spoiled, haven't we, with all the loveliness. And now we've got wet stuff. And it seems a bit cooler, but I don't think it is cooler, but it feels like I need a jumper on. Anyway, I'm hoping that you're all very well and you're all doing and you're all busy and playing. Thank you for yesterday's photos. Quite a few extras put on. I think I prodded you all a little bit, didn't I, with triangles? Looking fabulous. And one this morning, all put together, ladies mixed up some of the blocks that we've been doing here on Witter and some of the blocks we've been doing on Double Snuggle and made our own quilt top up, and it's looking fabulous. It really is. Ready for quilting, so I can't wait to see that one. Hopefully she's going to carry on watching us every day. Might pick up a few more ideas, you never know. It might be that some of you are to a point now that you've had enough and you're going to put your quilt together. Please don't stop watching, because you never know what you might learn. But yeah, you carry on as long as you want, and do as many as you want from this, all right? So I'm going to start off with Double Snuggle today, because I did promise, because I've not done it for a couple of days. Okay, so there's our Double Snuggle block. Okay, so this one here, which is a crazy patchwork block. Okay, and that's made up using all the odds and sods that you've got left over from all the other blocks. Because if you'd read the first instruction way back when, with the block one, it said hang on to any odds and sods. I always say that to everybody though, to be totally honest. It's like the one we're doing here. Hold on to your bits because they'll come in down the end, and quite often I like to put a crazy block in that will use up all those bits and pieces that you had. Okay, I'll just briefly say how to do crazy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because there is a full how-to over on abbyann.com on my blog. If you go into the blog, go into the archive sections, and I think this is January, February-ish or whatever, and you will find the last block and then how to put everything together. Okay, so your sashings and how they lay out. You can rearrange some of them because they're interchangeable if you want. If you want to change your layout, that's all good. Okay, so right, so crazy patchwork. There's loads of ways of doing it. None of them are right, none of them are wrong. They're whatever suits you. I say this all the time, don't I? Most techniques, you find your own way of working and how you like to do it, and there's lots of recommended ways. Okay, the way I do it is probably a bit more old-fashioned than most. Depending what size my bits and pieces are, I quite often just machine them together, open them out, machine another bit on, chop it in, and make a top piece of fabric with whatever I've got. That works. How I've done this one, I've got a back piece of fabric, so a thin cotton that you're not going to see, so something that doesn't matter, that you're going to throw away, as it were. Okay, so mark the size that you need plus your seam allowance and have it a bit bigger. Okay, so maybe an inch bigger all the way around. You can trim it back when you've done your block. All right, so what size do I need and you have a piece of fabric that big. Okay, so then you get two odds. All right, so say it was this one. That's my back fabric. Where's all my odds? There's a couple of odds. Okay, so I generally start in one area towards one side. You can start in the centre and work round and round and round. That to me is too contrived. I like mine completely random. Okay, so I might start with a piece there, right, and then you put another piece of fabric right sides together with that. Okay, and then you would machine along the join, okay, through your back fabric as well. And then when you've done that, you flip him open so that he's like that, and then I get another bit of fabric, could be that piece, could be anything, and I'll put it right sides together along there, along the two of them. Can you see? So along the side of those two, machine it, open it out, put another piece right sides together, machine it through all, open it out. Have your iron to hand for this one, give it a little as you go. If you fancy putting a bit of ribbon and things in as you go, do so, bit of lace, whatever suits you. If you get yourself backed up into an area where it's like, I can't put that under there, think ahead a bit. And then what I quite often do is I applique an edge if I have to. All right, it's perfectly allowable. Where have we got one on here? Can you see that little one there? I sort of backed myself into an area where it's like, okay, that's going to have to sit on top of the other bits of fabric. Well, I just tucked the edge in and appliqued it. Nothing wrong with that. Looks all right, doesn't it? And then traditionally you would stitch over every single join, all right? Could be blanket stitch, could be feather stitch. I used to use a whole raft of hand stitching. I tend to use machine these days for quickness, so it's a nice excuse. We've all got machines that do loads and loads of lovely stitches, haven't we? And we're all probably very guilty of not using those stitches. Well, this is an excuse to use every single one of them on your machine. All right, vary the length, vary the width, change the colour threads, change the thicknesses of threads if your machine will cope with it. Maybe use metallic, whatever you want. It really doesn't matter. But what I've done, I don't know if you can see that, I'm going to bring him up as close as I can. I've gone over every single join with something, and then I've put some lacy bits on, and there's a big piece of lace going across there. Whatever you fancy. Embellishment was the thing with Crazy. All right, you'll find those written details, and I say photos and stuff and how to, over on my blog, so do have another quick look. This is a lovely fun one. All right, and now all of you that are waiting for today's block, guess what you're doing? You're going to do a crazy block. I've just this instant decided, because the one that I have done I'm going to keep underneath there. I'm going to do that in 2 days time instead. Being as I've just explained that, wouldn't that be lovely? A crazy block. Okay, so we're aiming at 12.5 inches finished. So if you cut yourself a piece of fabric for backing, if that's the way you want to do it, say maybe cut it 13 inches square, draw on there a line of your 12, so as you know that when you're stitching and flipping your fabric, that you've covered that outside edge. Okay, you can start in the middle, you can start at one side. It might be sometimes that you start up one end and you're working and working and working and, oh, that's not really going to work, so you start off down the other end and come back at yourself. It could be that you join 2 or 3 pieces together separately and then join that onto and flip it. Okay, so there's no rights or wrongs, and you will find your own way of working. This is the beauty of it. And I'll say this time and time again, and I cannot fail to stress this enough. All of us tutors have our ways of what we want and how we like it. Doesn't matter. It's what you want and what you like. I can tell you how I do it, but it's your choice. Okay, there's no rights, there's no wrongs. It's what works for you. But with Crazy Blocks, get as carried away as you want with the embellishments. You could put buttons and beads and motifs and anything you really, really fancy. I feel I might have to put a circle on mine now that I've said I'm gonna have to make this block today now, in between everything else. I've got a whole heap of things to do today, which is lovely, and I'm not complaining. But now I have to make a crazy block, but I have got the next block already done. I thought I was being so good yesterday, catching up and think, oh, I'm going to do my block today, ready for tomorrow. Then I have a whole clear day to carry on doing what I need to do. That's not happened, has it? See, spontaneity is always a good thing. I reckon everybody a nice bit of crazy. How good's that? So all the odds and sods you've got left from everything you've done, it might be several pieces already joined together. It could be started with that one. Yeah, because you've got a third one of these, haven't you, perhaps left? So you could start it with that sort of in the middle and then stitch and flip from there outwards. Half a crazy block already done. How good's that? You just then need to embellish and stitch and do stuff over the top of it. I can't stress enough the play that you can have on top of these with the embellishments and the stitching. All right, get as crazy as you fancy on it. Could even have a few grasses going on there, a few of those curves to match in with the other ones that we did. Oh, see, look, the brain's gone off on one here. Lovely. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to do that later. I don't know how far I'll get with me stitching over the top of it all, but I'll get the block made so that you can all see. And then, oh, could be hand, could be machine. Probably be machine, because I'm not going to have an awful lot of time. But if you like handwork, what fun. Some nice thick embroidery threads or some anchor perle. Love. I don't know if you've ever seen the perle. I think it's ticket 12, the little thin one. That's fabulous. And if you use it I can actually use a ball of perlé on my sewing machine, on my little Husqvarna here, provided I've got a big needle. So I tend to use a metallic needle because it's designed to protect your thread the way the needle's done. So I get a large eye metallic needle, and then I have the little ball. I mean, it's a weird little ball, you know, like your normal perlé threads. I don't know, I haven't got one to hand here. And I put it on my stand and let it feed from a distance. Make sure you check your top tension periodically, just to make sure it's all flowing nicely. And only do a few bits at a time, but you can use perlé on your machine. Fabulous effects you get. Really nice thick stitching. Use a big wide open stitch, don't use a tight one. And it can be lovely. Oh. So there's all spontaneous fun. I'm going to enjoy that today. I'm going to have to get my perlé out. I've got some variegators. If anybody needs any posting, I've got a whole stack of them here. I love them. They're really good. Oh, that's excited me and everything. Playtime. Was there anything else I was supposed to say today? I've totally lost the plot now. My brain's just is off on doing. Oh, how lovely. Okay, right. So I'll just reel that all back in then. Oh, we're going to do a crazy block for our next block. You can make pieces as big or as small as you want. So don't be daunted thinking, oh, got to be tiny. They don't. They can be any size or shape you want. Try not to be too regimented. That's the trick, because we're all very good at getting in a pattern. Shouldn't be a pattern, should be all sorts of everything. All right. Okay, so there we are. Excitement. So other things for the day. Thomas is in his bed on the table here. He was in early this morning because it's wet and horrible out there, so he's come trundling in his first opportunity, bless him, for his daytime sleeps, which is good. Have you all spoken to all your friends yesterday, today? I had all sorts of messagings last night, just saying quick hellos to people that I've not spoken to for a while. That was lovely. Had a lovely little video sent round to me. There's all these chain things going on, and I apologise if you send them to me, because most of them stop where they are. I look at them and then that will be it. I don't generally send things on. But there was a really, really lovely one came to me yesterday, basically saying hello, which was fab. So I did send that on to a few people that I've not spoken to for a while, so that was quite nice. But the chain things, I do tend to sort of stop them there and then. But there we go. So have you said hello to everybody? And what about our elderly Jen? Millions and millions! I just think that's fabulous. I am so chuffed for Captain Tom, isn't it? Fabulous, fabulous. Bless him. Leading the way. So that's hello to everybody. Exercise, well, it could be jumping up on the spot today, I think, because it's a bit damp out there, and I'm certainly not going to run, let alone wander around the garden today. I might have gone and watered some plants, but they're getting that for themselves today. I might have to feed the fish. Fish probably need feeding. But other than that, I'm not going out there. It's a bit miserable. So on the spot exercisings, do make sure, especially if we're going to do some crazy, because we're going to be there on our machines. So we need to back off of that and just make sure that we're relaxed a bit, because you can get really engrossed, can't you? Okay, so that's it. And tidying, I've still got a good day's worth over there. I'm not even going to look at that now today, because I've got to play crazy blocks. Love it, love it. Oh, look, I've made that all wobble. I'm sorry, I made you wobble. I was getting overexcited. There we are. So, have a lovely day, everybody. Be lovely. See ya.